the law of polarity helps you shift very quickly from a state, let's say, of pain to a state of joy, pain of sadness to a state of happiness. And it's coming from the Kybalion, from the Hermetic principles. There are 7 Hermetic principles. And the law of polarities says that everything has poles, south and north, good and bad, love and hate. And between these poles, it's a matter of degrees. They're the same in nature, but only the degrees varies. So if you hate someone, somewhat, that means you're on the lower scale, of that line of love. If you love it, you're on the higher scale, and you just can move basically the cursor. It's like heat and cold, for instance. There's not a place on your thermometers where you can see, oh, this is hot, this is heat. It's degrees, and for you it feels hot or it feels cold, and it varies for people. So just as it's vary like that, you can make it vary yourself. So let's say the tangible example: you hate someone, like you have deep resentment for someone. By looking at why. You're doing this. If you hate it, it's because it's triggering something inside of you. It's mirroring something that you have inside of you. And by looking and understanding that, oh, I hate this person because she's so controlling. You look at how you are controlling yourself. Maybe not on other people, with yourself, etc. And by understanding that, you start understanding the other person. Because another principle of the Hermetic principle is as within, so without. As above, so below. So you start understanding that person, and the hate starts gradually moving, toward love, toward understanding. That doesn't mean immediately you want to embrace that person, but that means the hate is diminishing and moving toward love. So using that, you can shift any state. That means you never fixed, you never stuck into one thing. You can just move it to another state. And when you start applying this law to your daily life, it's crazy how it can shift, how you can balance yourself. And there is, to me, 3 steps depending on the degree, of the pain. Sometimes it's very easy. You can see, oh, I resent that person, and oh, it's just that stuff that's playing there. And you move, immediately the cursor on the positive side. Sometimes it takes a little more. You're like, okay, I have really a problem with that person. What she did is really triggering me, etc. And I need to look a bit deeper and to reprogram it. So what's the opposite? There's something I love also about her, otherwise I wouldn't hating it. And you start seeing it more positively, reframing it basically, so you can see, oh, actually I love her because she really is on it, but she has that excess of things that's annoying me. So it's not all negative. I like that part, but I want to give that part away, just like for me also. And then it's more complex than that. You need to go deeper. So then you can use the vortex, for instance, to go deeper inside and really looking what's at the root of that resentment, of that negative feeling, understand the root and remove it energetically, and then transmute it into a force. So these 3 steps help you to do it quickly, medium, and a bit deeper when you need to. And with these three tools, you can already transmute a lot of things and make sure you're staying more on the center point of the pendulum, not going too much on the left, the hate, not too much on the excess love as well, staying more center.